Bella Salon and Day Spa, located at 41 West Main Street in Northeast Pennsylvania, proudly supports Chautauqua Sunrise and its volunteers. More information at bellasalonanddayspa.net. Westfield Memorial Hospital provides high-quality health care to residents of Western New York, offering patients the most sophisticated medical advancements while keeping the ease and familiarity of a community hospital. Support for Chautauqua Sunrise has been provided by WRFA 107.9 FM, Jamestown's public radio station, streaming online 24/7 at WRFALP.com. Low power to the people. Funding is provided by a grant from New York State Senator Catherine M. Young, representing Western New York's 57th District with a local office in Olean. Chautauqua Sunrise is made possible by a grant from Fredonia Place, a continuing care retirement community providing dignity in a modern luxury environment. Meter's Restaurant, a family tradition for over 50 years in downtown Ripley, is a proud supporter of Chautauqua Sunrise. Meter's provides all-day dining, banquet services, and custom catering, specializing in pie. From the Access Channel 5 studios in Mayville, it's Chautauqua Sunrise. Chautauqua Sunrise is hosted by Doc Hamels and supported by the award-winning volunteers at Access Channel 5. Continuing the traditions of Senior Report, we are here to share local news, colorful interviews, and events of interest to everyone. Chautauqua Sunrise is broadcast live Saturday mornings each week, countywide, from 9 to 10 a.m. Join us by calling in live, emailing us, or checking out our social media. And now, from the Channel 5 studios, it's Chautauqua Sunrise.
Hey, happy Saturday, everybody. I'm Doc Hamels, and welcome to Chautauqua Sunrise. I gotta tell you right now, you better put on your seatbelts wherever you're sitting, because we got an energized show for you coming up. I got the guys in the green room right now, and it's ready to blow the doors right off. So anyways, we're gonna have a lot of fun. So stick around, or if you can't watch it right now, check us out later in the week, or pre-record us, or whatever you want. And especially good afternoon to our friends over at WRFA, Low Power to the People, 107.9. You can be listening to us Tuesdays at 1 o'clock, and I want to welcome you to the show as well. So, wow, how many times can you say in a lifetime that you've experienced 3 seasons in one day? Yesterday we had spring, then we went to fall. We skipped summer somewhere in there, and we went right to winter. Wowzer. My engineer Jeff and I were talking before the show, and I think it dropped 45 degrees from one point to the other until we got up this morning. Holy moly, my truck was iced right over. I went to open the door. Well, that was a little bit of a presumption that I could just simply get into my truck. I had to chip away at all the edges of the door along the seal and get into the truck that way, but it took a while. But hey, it's winter, and it's Western New York, and I'm good with that, very good with that. So I hope you're having a good week and a good weekend. Want to remind you that this show, especially if you have a comment or a suggestion, or you know anything about the topic that we're going to be talking about here, I'm keeping you on the edge of your seat, I know I am. Be sure to give us a call, because these guys want to know what you know. So give us a call at 753-5225. You can email us or Twitter us, so you can go to Facebook or whatever. As I always say, in all seriousness, if you're really shy and you're nearby, write on a piece of paper and drop it off, and we'll be happy to ask the guys the question. Also, if you have an announcement for your club or organization, as you will see here in a minute, we are more than happy to share information with the rest of the community about whatever it is you're doing. A lot of clubs and organizations don't have a big marketing budget, if any, and this is a great way to get out information about your event. So let's just get right into it. Start right over in Jamestown with my good friends at Infinity. They have the Infinity Art Market and Auction coming up, which is an annual event, and this is going to be their 4th annual. And this event supports area artists by giving them a market to showcase and sell their art. There goes a nice poster. All the while raising funds to support youth music and arts instruction at the Infinity Visual and Performing Arts Center. The fundraiser is going to be held in the Arts Cafe right there at Infinity on March 10th, so mark your calendar. They're going to feature local crafted items to showcase local artists, followed by an auction of locally crafted pieces to raise funds for programming at Infinity. More than 20 artists are participating again this year. This year's art auction will feature a chainsaw carving by Vince Luiso and a collection of pottery and ceramic art donated to Infinity by Carol Hay, good friend of mine, created by the late Douglas Hay, her husband. For more information, give Mariah Melendi a call at 664-0991. Okay, let's run up to Dunkirk area in Fredonia. Northern Chautauqua Community Foundation wants you to know that they always have something available for the community to apply for, whether it's scholarships or community grants. And they want me to highlight today the George B. Weaver Jr. Footprints Award. Very cool one. Okay, there's Jim and his wife Marcia. They were the recipients last year, Marins. The Northern Chautauqua Community Foundation's George B. Weaver Jr. Footprints Award Committee is currently accepting nominations for the 2018 award. They're seeking submissions that demonstrate how an individual or individuals exemplify their mission of enhancing Northern Chautauqua County. Take a moment to nominate someone you know, whether an individual, a family, or a group that creates footprints for others to follow in the community. For more information, let's see here. You can give them a call at 366-4892, or you can go to their website. Hang on a second. There it is, nccfoundation.org/footprints-award. But just go to nccfoundation.org, and I'm sure you can find it by just digging into some of their buttons there, and you'll find the footprints application. And some of the past recipients are George Weaver, Dallas Beal, Robert Madom, Jim and Carol Boltz, Donald Eno, the founding members of the NCC Board of Directors themselves, Richard Johnson, and just a whole bunch of other folks. And as I mentioned, the last ones were James and Marcia Marins last year. And I happened to be there when that was awarded. That was a very nice ceremony. Going back to Jamestown, January 15th, the 4th show of Rolling Hills Radio's 8th season will take place on Monday, January 15th at its regular venue, right at Shawbucks, located in the heart. Goodness, my voice is going weird today. Located in the heart of Jamestown's Theater District. Headlining January 15th's 2-act show will be Catherine Cook and Zig Zeitler. They're going to be featuring bluegrass music and blues and all that sort of thing. For information, you go to chautauquachamber.org. The Chautauqua Chamber of Commerce is the outlet where you can get your tickets online. So you go to chautauquachamber.org events, and you can buy them there. Or you can give them a call at 484-1101. And just give you a heads up, Joe Crookston is coming on January 29th with John Lantini. They're the next act. And on February 26th, I already got my tickets, Tom Paxton, America's favorite poet, songwriter, musician. He's going to be there. And I did one of his songs just recently on stage at the Reg. So that's going to be, I can't wait. Okay, doors open for Jamestown, January 20th. I'm still in Jamestown. Okay, once again, this year, many attractions in Jamestown area will open their doors for free to give local people a chance to be tourists in their hometown and to see for free what hundreds of tourists pay for each year. So listen very carefully. This is way cool, guys. This is a one-day opportunity. Doors Open Jamestown is set for January 20th. That's like next Saturday, 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. Now listen, this is where you can go. The Audubon Community Nature Center, the Bustye Grist Mill, the Chautauqua Sports Hall of Fame, whoever they are, Chautauqua Striders, the Dar House, D-A-R, Dykeman Young Gallery, Fenton History Center, Infinity Visual and Performing Arts Center, James Prendergast Library, Lucille Ball Desi Arnaz Museum, the Marts Observatory, the Northwest Arena, Reginald A. Center for the Arts, Robert H. Jackson Center, wherever that is, Roger Torrey Peterson Institute of Natural History, and the Spire Theater. Okay, and then of course there's all kinds of restaurants that are going to be offering some specials going that day, and this is brought to you by Jamestown Up Close, Jamestown Renaissance Center, and Jamestown Community Chamber of Commerce. January 20th. Check it out, guys. You got cabin fever, that's a great day to get out and check out some really cool things. Okay, as I mentioned last week, it's that time of year again. It's slide 17, Girl Scout cookie time. All right. Just when you get done with all those Christmas cookies, you probably have run out by now. I got 4 left, I think, at home, so I'll be about ready for Girl Scout cookies. The 101st Girl Scout Cookie Program cookie season has begun. After last year's 100th anniversary of Girl Scouts selling cookies, troops in Western New York are kicking off the season with the return of Girl Scout s'mores. The most popular flavor to launch in the 101 years of Girl Scouts selling cookies. Consumers can now help fuel transformative leadership experiences and build the next generation of entrepreneurs in Western New York by purchasing Girl Scout s'mores and classic favorites like Thin Mints and Caramel Delights. Oh man, I just gained a pound just reading that. Okay, so guys, gals, you know they're going to be knocking at your door. You're going to see them out in the stores or wherever. This is a great organization. We have them coming here just about every year on the show. Can't think of a better thing, especially in the days that we're living right now, promoting strong women in our communities, and the Girl Scouts do just that. So be supportive of them so they can go to camp and do all the projects they like to do. Okay, let's move right along. This is a new one, the Drake McCain fundraiser. Okay. We got a poster on that, number 18. There we go. Brand new one. So this is the first time reading this. This is going to be a fundraiser for Drake on February 24th. Let's see here. Trying to think what it is. It's going to be held at the American Legion, Travis Post, just down the road here at Mayville. Drake is a 12-year-old Chautauqua Lake student who has recently been diagnosed with leukemia. Bummer. He is the son of John and Debbie McCain, and the youngest of 4 children. He is a 7th grade student that enjoys choir, participating in musicals, and loves Legos. He is currently undergoing treatment at Oshai Children's Hospital in Buffalo. Anything that you can donate to help Drake and his family with the costs associated with his care would be greatly appreciated. Of course, prayers are always welcome. If you're interested to make a donation, you can mail it to the Drake McCain Donations at P.O. Box 144, Mayville, New York, 14757. And let's see, I can't tell exactly what this is. They're it's a spaghetti. They don't have that on my paper here. Spaghetti dinner, and they're serving from 2 to 6, and they do takeouts. It's $10 for individual or $20 for the family. Where's Randy Burt? You can take all the boys, all one money, guys, $20. Get them over there. Tickets available at the door. So, folks, as always, we like to support folks that are in the need, and Drake is in need. And my buddies, the Bogarts, are going to be playing live music there. There's going to be a 50-50 raffle and a Chinese auction. We'll be talking more about this as it comes closer, but mark your calendars, February 24th. And looks like my last announcement for today, this is a new one. Be a thinker, not a drinker. This is a poster contest, and this is for CASIC's 17th annual poster contest. Okay, Be a Thinker, Not a Drinker is the theme for the 2018 poster contest, sponsored by Chautauqua Alcohol and Substance Abuse Council. That's what CASIC stands for. All Chautauqua County students in grades 3 through 12 are invited to participate in the contest. Youth are asked to design a poster that expresses this theme, Be a Thinker, Not a Drinker. Details about the contest have been mailed to all the county schools and youth agencies, and additional information can be found at the CASIC's website, which is basically casacweb.org. Okay, and there's various categories by age. Let's see. There's there's early grades 3 through 4, grades 5 through 8, or 6 through 8, excuse me. Category 3 is grades 9 through 12, basically high school. Because of the large number of posters entered, all entries will go through a pre-judging process prior to the award ceremony, which is scheduled for April 11th. The remaining 12 finalists, 4 in each category, will compete for the honors of grand prize, which includes a $100 cash prize. Additional prizes in each category will be awarded: $50 for first place in each category, $25 second place, $20 for third place, and the remaining finalists will receive honorable mention, and so on. So we're going to be talking more about this as we go along, but you got to know that the deadline for posters is Friday, March 16th at the office there at 51 East 3rd Street, Suite 2. Wait a minute. Stop. They got me 2 different addresses here. All right. The one in Jamestown is 501 West 3rd Street, Suites 3 and 4, in the Sprinchhorn building. And then that's in Jamestown. Or at 51 East 3rd Street, Suite 2 in Dunkirk. There we go. First time you read these things, you never know how it's going to come up. All right, we're going to talk more about that. Right now, we're going to take a public service announcement, and we'll be right back. Stay tuned. I'm Doc Hamels. Don't go anywhere.
There's a shelter pet who wants to meet you. Meet one today. Visit theshelterpetproject.org. Adopt.
Traffic.
Okay, folks, we're back, and some time ago I got this email and wanted to know if these guys could join me on Chautauqua Sunrise, and I said, well, I'm good with one of you, and then the other one I was fine, but then they said Randy Anderson was coming along, and well, I have to think about no. Always pleasure. Guys, welcome to the show. We got Greg Peterson, we got Randy Anderson, and Randy Sweeney, and I got Randy Bird out in the other room. The studio is full of Randys today. So guys, welcome, and it's good to see all of you. You got your sweaters. We all kind of look like a bunch of college guys or something.
Thanks. Until there's a close-up on our face. Yeah. It's obviously we're not college guys, Doc.
So you guys said you all kind of grew up together? Is that sort of
the same vintage people here, all in southern Chautauqua County.
Southern Chautauqua County. Okay, well, let me just do an overview. My understanding is that we want to do a couple things today. We want to talk about the history of stock car racing and that here in Chautauqua County, but then you especially, and I want to remind the theme all the way through today's show, is that you're looking for information specifically about one or more tracks. And I'll let you talk about that as we go along. So I was overwhelmed, as I always am when Randy Anderson comes through the door. He's got things flashing in the air, he's throwing things around. But I wasn't aware of the depth and breadth of what stock car racing was in Chautauqua County. So how about give us an overview?
Well, I'm going to let Randy Anderson.
We're going to jump over there now.
Oh, yeah,
I tried to postpone this. All right, here we go.
Well, just so by way of background, Randy is the historian extraordinaire of all things racing in our area. That's not only limited to Chautauqua County, but he's incredible. Also president of the Chautauqua Sports Hall of Fame, and a real force of nature. So the nice thing is that he's pulled together and has been able to present throughout the county the history, which is a long and deep history. So we're going to have Randy talk about it, but we're going to pause at a couple spots and show some video clips, which may give your audience a little bit of a
break from Randy. Oh, I thought that's what you were going to say.
Now, you got to know, Doc, with all due respect, he drove us here, and we're going to expect him to drive him back. So we'll be kind and nice. Okay?
All right, so don't mess with that. Don't bring up that one subject and do this. Okay, I got it. Randy, how did you get involved with racing? I mean, why are you so into this?
Well, I guess I blame my dad for that.
Okay.
My dad was into auto racing and took me to State Line Speedway.
Did he race?
No, but he built a car that raced, and he had a wrecker service that worked at the racetrack. So I blame him.
Okay.
And I gone to State Line and many other racetracks my entire life, and just appreciate the history of the sport.
Okay, so we're going to concentrate basically on Chautauqua County.
We are.
Okay.
Because my affiliation with the Chautauqua Sports Hall of Fame, we are focusing directly on Chautauqua County racetracks today.
Okay.
Next to my friend Randy Sweeney is a map that shows all the racetracks that existed in Chautauqua County. And you'll see that there's a lot of places.
All right, so do we want to look at you, or do we want to look at the map?
I think you ought to take a look at the map,
All right,
just so your
let's get a
listeners
shot on that map.
can have an idea of how many racetracks existed in
Okay,
this
so
county.
we can kind of keep focused on the map for a little while.
Okay,
So-
that'd be great.
All right, so
The first oval
go ahead.
The first oval track race course in Chautauqua County was on the horse racing track at the Chautauqua County Fairgrounds in Dunkirk.
All right, that's up north.
Yep.
Okay.
They started racing in the 1920s at the Dunkirk Fairgrounds.
Racing what? Cars?
Yeah.
In 1920?
Yeah.
How fast were they going?
They started with speedway type cars, that
That's true.
that may have been at Indianapolis, and they had midget race cars, and they raced at the fairgrounds clear up into the 50s. The first track that was built specifically for auto racing was the Jamestown Speedway. The Jamestown Speedway was located 3 miles north of Kimball Stand on Route 380.
Okay, so
That was 1935, Doc.
now on our map, it's somewhere next to Randy's shoulder, but which one?
Route 380,
Oh, okay.
north of Kimball Stand.
All right, so sort of like in that lower
Yeah.
quadrant
Yeah.
down there. Okay.
Okay. So that was 1935.
1935.
The next track that opened was Satan's Bowl of Death.
Okay, that's
What
not,
a great
that's
name.
not funny. What are you talking about?
Satan's Bowl of Death
I gotta write
opened in
this.
1939.
Bowl of Death?
Right.
Was this like a carny show, or what was this?
No, it was more of a thrill show era. Satan's Bowl of Death opened in 1939. It was located on the Big Tree Sugar Grove Road,
Oh, all right. I know where that
between Lawson and Northrop Roads.
is. Oh, we got some pictures right now.
Right. Randy Sweeney, my capable assistant,
Yes, he is.
holding a couple of photographs from Satan's Bowl of Death in 1939.
He's not making his
And
name
in
up, is
between
he?
the photographs is an actual trophy that was won at Satan's Bowl of Death in 1939.
So you said this was more expedition type? Or exhibition?
Well, it wasn't an oval course. It was, well,
Please
you
don't
went
say-
up a
please don't
hill.
say square.
It was an obstacle course.
Oh, all right.
You went up a hill,
Okay.
around a pine tree, back down a hill, through a stream of water, and that was your first lap.
Nowadays they call that off-road.
Well, as Randy's picture shows, it was certainly a rough course, but it was very popular, Doc. We have reports from the newspaper that as many as 10,000 people would show up on Sunday afternoons at Satan's Bowl of Death.
How many people would race at the same time? Just any idea?
15 to 20 cars at a time.
All trying to get around a pine tree.
Yeah, and down the hill and through the water, and I mean, look at the picture that Randy has. You could see the
And
car
the mud's flying.
navigating the stream.
Yeah.
Also in 1939, Doc.
Okay.
A track opened up 1 mile north of Cassadaga on Route 60, and that was called Miller's Bowl of Thrills.
That's a
Miller's
long- say that-
Bowl of Thrills.
Say that 10 times fast. Miller's Bowl of
I can't, but you can try it.
I can't even get past one. Miller's
Bowl of Thrills. Also that
Sounds
same
like
year,
cereal.
a track opened up on North Main Street Extension just outside of Jamestown, about where Moon Road comes into Route 60.
Okay, up in 60.
And that was called the Oak Hill Sport Club.
Oh, that sounds pretty cool.
In 1940, a track opened up on the Fluvanna Town Line Road, just behind the fire hall on the Fluvanna Town Line Road.
You know,
And
that's
that was called, you're going to love this name too, Doc, write it down,
My pen's in my hand.
Ted's Torture Track.
TTT.
Ted's Torture Track. It was owned by a guy named Ted Chamberlain, named it after himself.
Miller's Bowl of Thrills, Satan's
Satan's
Bowl
Bowl
of
of
Death,
Death.
and Ted's Torture Track.
All very popular and
I bet
successful racetracks. But then World War II happened.
Oh, yeah.
And all the tracks closed down. All the drivers went into service.
Sure.
And so there was a gap before racing resumed in our county. And in 1948, after the GIs got back and they were ready to get going again, a racetrack opened called Hanover Speedway. That was located on the Allegheny Road between Silver Creek and Irving.
So that's that one way up top there.
Yep, that was 1948, Hanover Speedway.
Now, hold on a second.
Yeah.
What kind of cars are they driving?
That was more, they were like cut down cars. Maybe the roofs had been cut down, so they were, Model A's.
T-buckets and
Yeah, stuff like that, yeah.
See, that's my extent of my knowledge of race cars and all these.
That's why we're here, Doc.
I watch American Pickers. That's the only reason why I know some of this stuff.
So then in 1950, the Jamestown Speedway reopened. That was the one that was on Route 380, just north of Kimblestan.
Okay.
And then in 1951, a track opened up in the Clymer area called Clymer Super Speedway. Pretty grandiose name.
Super Speedway.
That was located north of Clymer on Route 74.
Now, were these tracks basically all the same size? Or,
No.
Satan's death thing there. I mean, I know
That's right. Each track was unique. Now, these last few tracks that I've been talking about, Hanover Speedway, Jamestown Speedway, Clymer Speedway, they were actual oval tracks.
Oval.
So they were actually,
He's making a left. He's making another left.
making a left, yeah, you got it. The next big thing to happen in auto racing in our county was jalopy racing. And one of the first tracks to open was Sherman Raceway. That was located in a gravel pit on Depot Street behind the mill. If you know where the mill is in Sherman, there was a gravel pit behind it, and that's where Sherman Raceway took place. Now, Greg has brought some video that was taken at Sherman Raceway in about 1956.
And we'll get to Sherman Raceway in a second after we're both educators, right? Define jalopy. What is a jalopy?
A jalopy is, okay.
Is
It's
it
a
like
car that's
is it like a whoopee?
a whoopee. A whoopee, that's something way different, Doc.
whoopee.
And we aren't going to
Woo.
whoopies
Whoopee,
today.
whoopee.
We're staying on whoopies. So, you go to the junkyard, you buy a car for $25, maybe a 1940 Ford, 48 Chevy, and you take the fenders off it, and you maybe soup up the engine a little bit, and you go racing.
Devil may care. Doesn't matter if you hurt it because you don't.
No, you don't have a lot invested
All
in
right,
your
so
car,
jalopy
and
racing.
you're not racing for a lot of money either.
So it's just
These
for
guys
the-
are racing
purely
for
for the
anywhere
fun.
from $25 to $50 to win.
Okay.
Maybe paid $1 to get into the pits that day. But there were so many of these jalopy tracks, as we will soon learn.
Okay.
But I think
So
we
we're gonna
need to
see this video
see some
now.
video
All right,
from
let's
Sherman Raceway,
roll that
and you'll
video.
see what a jalopy is.
All right. Here we go. He's back. No,
That's
no. We're still jalopy racing. Here we go. Where did that come from? Oh, back to Randy. Hang on. Keep talking. He said, "All right." So,
Well, let's. I'll introduce the video.
please do.
The person you'll see once it starts is Sherman, New York's really rock star in that whole early racing period, which is Johnny Whitehead. So Johnny Whitehead was interviewed, and as part of his world, he talks about, and we show Sherman Raceway, which was really in a gravel pit. So hopefully we'll see that.
Johnny Whitehead had a great nickname, by the way, Doc. Write it down.
I'm writing it down.
The Flying Farmer.
He's heard of him, did you?
Who hasn't?
The Flying
Farmer.
Farmer.
He was a dairy farmer, and flying, he's so fast.
The Flying Farmer.
The Flying Farmer.
So, Jeff, are we ready yet?
His car number at one time in his career was number 39, and he said he chose that number because he had 39 cows.
What?
Yeah. You can't make this stuff
39.
up, Doc.
The Flying Farmer with 39 cows. Now, okay, while they're still...
Okay, while they're figuring out...
I got a question. This is my job here. Would these guys go from track to track to track?
Most of the tracks that we're talking about raced on Sunday afternoons.
Okay.
So you kind of had to pick and choose which one you were going to. But a Sherman Raceway, for example, raced on Thursday nights. They had lights.
Oh,
Big time. So
under the
in
lights.
1956, we're talking about lighting at Sherman Raceway. So you could race Thursday nights at Sherman, and then work on your car on Friday and
Put it all back
Saturday.
together,
yeah, yeah, and then on Sunday you could pick another track to go to.
Now, was there a hierarchy? In other words, like entry level, like where I would go with my go-kart?
No, there was one class of cars.
Everybody.
So everybody was in the same class.
Did you have to qualify? Or
Yes, exactly.
Oh, you have to qualify.
Exactly
How do you
right.
qualify then?
Okay, they ran heat races.
Yeah.
And they might take the first 3 or 4 finishers out of each heat race.
Okay.
They would transfer to the feature event.
Okay.
And then they might run a consolation race where a few more cars would transfer. And then they'd run maybe a 20-car feature that would go anywhere from 25 to 50 laps.
Okay, so these are all mostly oval. But I've seen
Yes.
tracks where they have with that crazy 8 design.
Now, none of those around here.
Thank goodness.
Figure 8s, they called them. Not around here,
do
Doc.
that.
Well, let me keep on going while you're trying.
Okay, they're going to try it. You ready?
They're going to try it?
All right, here we
Good
go.
deal.
Okay, let's see what happens. There we go.
All right.
Sherman, New York.
Success.
Where I lived in Sherman, they had a track there down in a gravel pit. A lot of the same cars run Rollerball as run Sherman.
Was there money difference so that you might go to one over the other?
I don't think so. Paid about $35 to win.
John, Rollerball ran on Sunday afternoons. When did Sherman run?
Thursday night.
Did you also race on Friday and Saturday?
No, not very much. Maybe once in a while we'd go someplace, but mostly when I was running the Rollerball, it was Sherman and the Rollerball. I was a High Point man at Sherman and Rollerball and 5 Point all in 1 year.
Wow.
That was the Flying Farmer talking
Number
about Sherman
39.
Raceway. Yeah.
I'm trying to figure out how you would pass anybody. It looks like they're these big, clumpy elephants trying to go over to all these bumps.
Well, there was a technique called bump and run. Another, move the guy out a little bit and then get by him and take off. Did you notice how there were cars parked up on the top?
No, I didn't see that.
Oh, the spectators were parked in cars around the track, and
They sat in their cars and watched it down in the
yeah,
down
they
below.
also had bleachers, but you could sit at in your car and actually watch the racing from Sherman.
I had no idea.
Yeah. Well, let's get on to
Yeah,
the
let's
next
keep
track.
going.
What?
Keep going.
All right. The next track that we want to talk about is Meadows Motordrome Speedway. That was located west of Dunkirk on Route 5, right across the street from where Shorewood Country Club is, Doc.
Oh,
You've
sure,
been out that way,
Yeah,
so
yeah.
you can visualize that. So we've got a little bit of film from Meadows Motordrome as well.
Meadows Motor. Now we're cooking. I would have done that.
Now notice how that track looked quite a bit different than the Sherman Raceway. That was a lot flatter.
Yeah, no, not many bumps.
Little wider.
For the folks listening to WRFA, we just watched 2 clips of round-looking vehicles. What year were those cars? do you
Oh,
think?
I'd say most of them were in the 40s.
Okay, that's
Yeah.
kind of that roundish look.
Yeah,
And they were all kind of bunched up at times. I saw a couple of them kind of spun out in one corner there. And as you were saying, the first one, the Sherman track, right?
Yes.
It was like being out in a cow pasture. I mean, it was just, they were
Well,
bouncing
it was
all over.
it was in a gravel pit.
Yeah, it was really bouncy. And this other one now, up in Dunkirk,
Right.
was much smoother and looked like it was sort of evolving to what maybe some of the tracks are today.
Exactly.
But it was a dirt track.
Yes, it was. They were all dirt tracks.
All dirt tracks.
All dirt tracks.
And that's kicking up the dirt on everybody and
Did you
everything.
notice how dusty it was?
Very dusty.
Yeah.
Would
yeah.
they run in the mud?
Well, they would water the track, very well
Right,
at the start of the day,
Right.
but as I said, most of these races were Sunday afternoons, so the track soon dried out.
Rain or shine on these races?
No. If it was raining hard, they couldn't race.
So they did have some safety precautions.
Another track that we want to talk about today is the Sulphur Springs Speedway.
Out in my backyard.
Exactly. You're familiar with where the Sulphur Spring Road is, out near between
Ripley.
Findlay Lake and South Ripley.
South Ripley.
And we have some video from Sulphur Springs Raceway as
All
well.
right. All right. And what were the years for this?
57, 58,
Okay.
59. Love the music, don't you, Doc?
Maybe Stetson. Is it Stetson's hardware?
That's it. Oh, got one tipped over there. Look at it. Well,
There's the pit crew.
There's the pit crew. Yeah, there's a 50 model car there, so
Yeah.
now we got a few fancier cars there.
55, 54. Okay, hey, first of all, folks that are listening right now, if you want to see what we're looking at, you always can go to our YouTube site, and usually we're posting by Sunday evening, and you could just look up this particular show, and you can actually see the footage of what we've been watching. Randy, are you looking for more footage from folks?
We are. Let me run through the rest of the
Yeah,
racetracks
no
that
problem.
existed in Chautauqua County,
Yeah.
and then Greg and Randy will take you into the history of what we're trying to do right now,
Okay.
and how your listeners can help us.
Awesome.
There was a racetrack out in the Fredonia area called West Sheridan Speedway. It was on the Lakeview Stone Quarry Road, as you're on Route 60 by the Aldrich Dairy Bar.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's the Lakeview Stone Quarry Road. There was a track down in Frewsburg on Oak Hill Road, past Erlinson Overlook Park. It was called, you're going to like this one, write it down,
I can't wait.
Rock and Roll Speedway. Rock and Roll.
And what year was this?
57,
Well,
58,
of course.
59.
Bill Haley in the comments, Chuck
Yep,
Berry.
yep. Out in the town of Arkwright on Center Road, there was a track called Vans Speedway.
Reasonable name.
Yep. The guy's name was Heil Van Arsdale. He was the owner. Vans Speedway, Heil Van Arsdale. Out on the Button Valley Road between Watts Flats and Panama, there was another good one. Roll-O-Bowl. Roll-O-Bowl.
Why would
Roll-O-Bowl.
Why would they call it that? Because it rolled over. I mean,
It was a bowl. They were racing in a bowl.
Oh, all right.
You
Well, it
get
just
it?
seems-
Roll-A-Bowl.
just seems odd to me.
Now, we just named a whole bunch of jalopy tracks
Yeah.
that raced from like 56 to about 1960. And then most of these tracks died out. And most of them died out because of the big elephant in the room. The big elephant in the room was State Line Speedway out on the Courtright Road in Bustye. State Line Speedway opened in 1956. And they didn't race jalopies out there. They raced late models.
Cool cars.
Yeah, modern day, high-powered cars that you'd see on the road. They had the best drivers show up because they paid the most money. So if you were an accomplished jalopy driver at any of these other tracks, you soon migrated over to State Line Speedway where the money was.
Right, sure.
And State Line Speedway had lights, great seating, good concession stands, and they basically put everybody else out of business. And State Line Speedway is still in existence today, Doc, 62 years later.
The new owners, though, right?
Yes. They've raced 62 consecutive years.
Holy moly.
at State Line Speedway. There's a ownership group now that has the track, Jim and Gene Scott, along with Dave Turner. They all live down in the Pittsfield, Garland, Pennsylvania area. And they're still racing. Saturday night, starting the last Saturday in April and running until Labor Day.
And that's a dirt track as well.
It is. It's a third-mile dirt track, very successful, and they still get a lot of people there, and all the best drivers are still at
My
State Line
brother-in-law
Speedway.
took me there once or twice over the years, and it was quite an experience, to say the least. A little loud,
history.
though. I noticed that. Earplugs was probably a good thing.
Well, yeah, it's like mowing your lawn, Doc. You put in your plugs for mowing your lawn,
It's
too.
like playing in a rock band.
Yeah. You know anybody who does that? No, okay. All right. So that's the history of
That's
dirt track
pretty awesome.
racing.
And thank you for bringing that map. That really brought it all together. I didn't realize it was 2 tracks so close to home on over in Sulphur Springs there. So who's next?
Well, let's talk a little bit about the next project. We've Randy Sweeney, Randy Anderson, myself have taken it to another level. Based on Randy Anderson's research, we have gone out and done some interviews, which we in turn put into sort of racing documentaries. I'm going to talk about our most recent one, and Randy Sweeney can talk about some of our past productions and what it is that we'll be doing in July. So with that backdrop, we have focused in on the next track of focus, which is Coon Road Speedway, which is located on Coon Road. As you go through the Sherman Westfield Road, beyond the crossroads as you're coming from Westfield, on the right-hand side is Coon Road, and down Coon Road, starting in 1956, was in fact a dirt track created by a gentleman by the name of Joel Swartout, and that ran intermittently from 1956 through 1961. Our goal is to capture interviews, get pictures, and hopefully, we have yet to get it yet, but movies like we've seen here today. And so that's our next project. We're off and running. Probably have done over 20 interviews of individuals who either raced there, were mechanics there, father owned the track, or the individual who currently owns the location. So we are looking forward to any and all memorabilia, ephemera, articles, and we've been working very closely with the Westfield historian, Mary Bell B. Been very helpful to us, and so it's a project, and we are really looking forward to showcasing that in the not so distant future.
You know, in preparation for you guys coming today, I said to my father-in-law and my wife, I said, Coon Road racetrack, do you guys ever go there? Oh, yeah. So my wife would have been quite young. Very young, I might add. Very young. And my father-in-law said that they would go there quite often. So that was a local entertainment spot. So, and Randy, was that also oval and dirt and same?
Yes,
same
it
thing?
was, yes.
Okay. So you're looking for posters, flyers. Would people have something like, like a family outing at the racetrack, and they have like a home video? You want something like that?
Absolutely. One of the things that you've seen here are just snippets, but we have done Sherman Raceway, Sulphur Springs, documentary, rock and roll, rollable, vans, and inevitably, when we have started talking about it, somebody has in their attic a nice yellow box that's Kodak,
Yep.
and it's an 8mm
I know exactly
movie.
what you're talking about.
And it'll say Sulphur Springs. And the deal is this: if they would permit us, we'll make a copy of it and turn it into a DVD, and we'll hand it back to them, and we'll give them a DVD so they can actually watch it.
What a deal!
It's a deal.
All right, so for those folks that are listening right now and watching, if you have something that has anything to do with any racetrack, okay, I knew where Randy was going with this.
Yeah.
He says, but specifically, right now we're focused on Coon Road.
Correct.
All right. So, how do they get a hold of you?
Well, probably call me directly. My number at the is 483-5172, and we'll make arrangements to not only pick it up, get it copied, and bring it back, but any racing would be fine. I could go to a myriad of stories as to how this has happened, where one coffee shop conversation led to another, and all of a sudden an 8mm movie appeared. So we are really looking for anything dealing with Coon Road. Anything dealing with racing is fine, because we have this documentary. And I want to flip it over to Randy Sweeney, who in his past life as the head of the Chautauqua Region Community Foundation, and the Chautauqua Region Community Foundation as an entity, together with Randy, who's really interested in all things racing, because that's part of his background.
Right.
We've done some documentaries, so maybe you could share the history of our documentaries and also what we plan on doing in July.
Okay, super.
Well, thanks, Doc. I haven't seen you in a while, so it's good to get back together.
I was on one of his committees giving away money, scholarships, and all that.
We appreciate everything you did at BOCES and everything with the vocational world.
Oh, I forgot about that. Those were crazy
absolutely.
nights. We were getting flooded with people those nights.
Yeah,
Okay,
absolutely.
very cool. So what do you got?
Well, this whole thing between the three of us, started over 10 years ago when the Harmony Historical Society had expressed some interest in you laughed at Roller Bowl.
I did.
Speedway.
But I like Satan's Death Bowl better.
Yeah. Some of us had, as young men, young boys, got a chance very young, were actually there and did get a chance to watch some of it. And that sort of led us into, the series of interviews, and we began to get more interested in what was going on there, and ultimately ended up in this DVD, and on the front it says, "Run it, race it, roll it over." And that was part of the entertainment, is some of the guys would go up on the bank, roll the car over on purpose for the entertainment of the crowd. So that was...
I rolled a truck once, but it didn't come back up on its tires. It was a couple years ago.
This did
I was in a ditch.
Occasionally it came back around, occasionally it didn't. There were some... We learned about some people that I had known that were real characters there at the track. So and then that came into fruition. This was aired, back in 2007. A name, Blinky Litzinger. Blinky actually had his original race car, had it there for the showing of the movie, which was in September of 2007. So
I would imagine after enough of those rollovers, I'd be blinking too.
Yeah.
Which way did they go?
But we began to talk amongst us. We had so much fun with this that maybe we ought to try to work on State Line Speedway, looking at the first 10 years, because 60 years is just too big of a nut to try to crack. Right. Our original conversation was, let's try to interview the 10 top drivers from State Line during those early years. Well, that led to way past the 10. If you know Greg Peterson, who loves to interview,
yes.
I think when the day was done, there were in excess of 60 interviews, and it might even been larger than that before it was done, because, as Randy mentioned, it was there'll be we would interview the track owners, for example, and that would lead to another interview. Or did you know that this driver was still alive and he's down at this particular location? And it was just, I can't begin to tell you the fun that we had. And ultimately, in 2009, this was completed and aired in, I guess it was 2010. In the fall of 2010, this was aired at the Jackson Center. To date, we have sold over 600 copies of this, and I mean nationwide. We have sold them obviously when we aired them, but people have contacted Randy at the Chautauqua Sports Hall of Fame. I've had contacts, and we've mailed these from coast to coast. People that had an interest.
Let's take a breath. We have a caller. Take a call?
Sure.
Okay, good morning, caller.
Well, good morning, Doc. Good morning, Greg, Randy, and Randy. It's great to see these gentlemen on the show. I've been to your racetrack.
Which one?
The one near Sherman.
Coon Road?
Coon Road?
Yes, yes.
Okay.
Tell us about that experience.
Well, it was very interesting. I love cars, and they seem to be all very enthusiastic.
I bet they were.
What year would you say you were there, and how old were you at the time?
Oh well, I don't want to tell you how old. My mother used to say, "Any woman who will tell her age will tell anything." No. But it was quite some time ago. I was with Doug.
Okay.
What do you remember about the racetrack in Coon Road Speedway?
Well, I remember there were that there were a lot of cars. There was a lot of enthusiasm, a great deal of participation. Doug and I we spent quite a bit of time there that day.
Mm-hmm.
Do you have the home movies that we're looking for?
No, I don't.
Pictures?
No.
Ticket stubs.
Don't feel it.
Empty Coke bottles.
Usually I save those things. I even read the book Hoarder No More. I'm trying to get over that.
Hoarder No More.
but I tell people if it weren't for people like me, there would be no museums, no history books, no libraries.
Would you share that with my wife? I mean, she doesn't believe me.
Yeah, my husband was a top-notch hoarder. I mean, unbelievable. And I'm a hoarder, but not like he was. But the two of us together, you can imagine what it was like.
Well, you can help us out by talking to all your friends in the hoarding community about our need for racetrack memorabilia.
Okay, Linda. Last time I did a match make with you, right? So we're going to do another one. Linda works for the Office for the Aging.
Oh. Perfect.
Mm-hmm. All right, right, Lynn?
That's correct.
So you can put this out on Facebook, you can do whatever, but I am sure that a lot of your friends over there know about this stuff, and these guys are looking for that.
Well, the three of us are clients of the Office of the Aging, so soon.
I should be a client too, but I still work there.
But I mean, in all seriousness, is that I bet many folks that you work with would know a lot about this stuff, wouldn't you think?
Oh, definitely. Yes,
Okay.
definitely.
Well, Linda, just there will be at the very end of the show a poster of what's coming, and if you could share that, that'll surely create some memories and some contact. So feel free to share that, and at the same time, our numbers and contact information are on it.
Well, thank you, Greg.
You're welcome.
So anything else?
Just that we're recruiting people, and spring is coming, and I'm looking for applicants, so please keep calling me. We have our computer training going on, free, one-on-one, in the Brockton Ohio Library and the Westfield Peterson Library.
Awesome. Okay, Lynn, well, thanks for calling in, and please, seriously, if anybody knows anything about this stuff, get them over to these guys, okay?
I certainly will. Well, thank you.
Okay.
Have a great weekend and a great week, and stay warm.
Yeah, you too. All right, great. Okay, so folks, you're watching Chautauqua Sunrise, and we are talking about dirt track racing in Chautauqua County. And Randy Sweeney, you're still up. So you were talking about these various videos.
Well, I mentioned that obviously this was an overview, of that first 10 years, featured as many drivers as 90 minutes would allow. Mm-hmm. But we realized that there were some stars, from that period, and actually after, carried over into a period, names like Bob Snars, Squirt Johns, Sammy Lamancuso, just to mention three, mm-hmm. that ultimately the decision was made to create a separate video of their racing career. And certainly Greg and Randy have done a fantastic job pulling together the hours and hours of video, Randy putting narrative to it. My job over the time has been to try to figure out how to market these and sell these, because obviously there's a cost related to the production. And we've been fortunate enough to find this financial support,
great,
to produce these and then ultimately sell them. And the proceeds, are in a fund at the Chautauqua Region Community Foundation to continue to support this, this art of, I'll call it an art of stock car
Where's the
racing.
money?
At the Chautauqua Region Community Foundation.
All right, but now folks are listening, they're watching, so if they're interested, how do they get one of these? How do they get their hands on it?
Well, there's probably a couple. I am still in the book under Randall Sweeney in the phone book for those of you that still have a phone book in your house. Most people, a lot of the younger ones don't. Otherwise, the Chautauqua Sports Hall of Fame would be the place I would go to and contact them, and Randy will get them a copy, or he'll get with me. I'm holding the inventory we have on all of these. But I tell you, if you're interested in stock car racing and you spent some time at State Line, it is just a lot of fun to have one of these and sit down, especially on a day like today, and watch these guys and have them tell their stories.
I know my viewers and listeners pretty well, I think, and so they're already thinking, all right, I know where to go. What's it going to cost? How much are these? $20.
These are all $20. And again, it's most of them are at least an hour, and could have been a lot longer, but had to try to cut and paste to make it into a reasonable length.
So local
movie.
history, local superstars,
right?
Dirt.
And then the Randy and Greg have certainly mentioned the jalopy tracks, the Sherman, the vans. There's Sulphur Springs, and so there's some copies of these which we do not have as big inventory, and those have been given to the area historical societies in each of those areas. So that would be the contact there if you wanted to take a copy and show it for an organization or a group. Might find that to be an enjoyable time.
I'm sitting here and I'm thinking that this is really like doing genealogical research on a family. I mean, and really, it is a family. It's a family of racers, it's a family of entertainment or whatever, and you've gone through all the same kind of steps that I've done to put my family tree together over the last 30 years or whatever. So this is really cool listening. We're getting down to the last couple of minutes, so I'm going to get back to Greg. So I know you got a special project coming up here, so let's talk about that.
Well, we do. It's the Coon Road Speedway project, which will, we've been doing interviews, continue to do interviews. Ultimately, we're going to have an event, which Randy Sweeney will talk about here in a second. This will be in Westfield at a special time where we will air or show to the community what we've done so far.
Very nice.
And then at that event, we'll inevitably do more interviews and go to the track. So Randy, why don't you just kind of
we can pop that right up. Let's pop the poster up, and then Randy can reference it. There it is.
Yeah, for those of you that certainly are looking at the poster right now, you can see that date, July 8th. This year, and be the Westfield Fire Department. It's at their Ox Roast, which is a big, a well-attended event.
Every year, same place. I've played there a couple times for them.
You can see the details there from noon to 6. We will be there. You can see in the fine print there underneath the Coon Road Speedway indication that we're going to be there from 1 to 3, talking about the information that has been uncovered up to this point in time, as well as Greg just indicated, be showing what has been accumulated at this time. And again, still looking at that particular time in July for more pictures. Maybe those movies that are in the attic we've been talking about might surface. But there are any racing memorabilia. We've had everything from ladies have come with their Coon Road or with their Powder Puff Derby win. Randy's got an example of a checkered flag from Coon Road, which is a real collector's item, to say the least. That was the checkered flag right up to the very last race. And so I would hope that they'd be putting that date on their calendar or digging through the attic as they're doing their spring cleaning, looking for these things.
Guys, we've run out of time.
Wow.
So one more time, a phone number they can contact you if need be.
Well, my number is 483-5172, 716-483-5172 in Jamestown.
Okay. And otherwise, go to the Sports Hall of Fame in Jamestown. Folks, Folks, that's a wrap. I already know that I'm probably going overtime. So thank you guys for coming by, and keep us posted on all this, and we'll make sure we announce various things that are coming up. Okay, how's that?
Thank you.
So
Thank you,
folks,
Doc.
I'm Doc Hamels. You've been watching Chautauqua Sunrise, and stay warm. Be careful out there while you're driving, and we'll see you maybe in the spring. Who knows where we're gonna be at this time next year, or next week, I mean. Anyways, take care and have a good week. And I can't hear any music, so I don't know what's going on. So there it is. There we go. So we're a wrap. Take care now.